Rising tensions overseas, President Biden ordering 8,500 U.S. troops to be put on heightened alert, meaning they are ready for rapid deployment to support America's NATO allies if Russia invades Ukraine.
The president held a video conference call with European leaders to coordinate the response. More diplomatic talks in Paris tomorrow as Russia builds up its forces on the Ukrainian border. Senior foreign correspondent Ian Pennell is on the scene in Ukraine. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, good morning, George. That's right. Both Russia and America, NATO, increasing their military options around Ukraine, adding to this sense of an escalating crisis. But at the same time, there is still reason to hope that perhaps diplomacy could win the day. This morning, the United States and NATO allies pledging more reinforcements for the region, with additional weapons expected today as the Russian troop buildup gathers pace. Overnight, more Russian military trains arriving to the north in Belarus as Russian ships setting sail in the Baltic Sea. Meanwhile, President Zelensky of Ukraine giving another nationwide address, urging people to stay calm. But U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken accusing Moscow of menacing Ukraine, saying it's an issue of global consequence.
Even as we're looking to advance the diplomacy, advance the dialogue, we have to be, and we are prepared when it comes to defense and deterrence.
The Kremlin accusing the administration of hysteria, saying it has no plans to invade. President Biden meeting virtually with European leaders, discussing efforts to deter Russian aggression on the Ukrainian border. The US now placing 8,500 troops on heightened alert for rapid deployment to support a NATO response force if necessary.
The United States has taken steps to heighten the readiness of its forces at home and abroad.
But for the time being, these troops will not be deployed to the region.
I want to reinforce that as of now, the decision has been made to put these units on higher alert and higher alert only.
As American troops remain at the ready, other NATO countries also deploying further military resources to the region, including warships, fighter jets, and additional ground troops. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson calling the Russian buildup of troops on the Ukrainian border evidence of Russia's intention to invade.
The plan for a lightning war that could take out Kiev is one that everybody can see.
The Department of Homeland Security now warning of potential Russian cyber attacks if the US or NATO responds to an invasion of Ukraine, saying Russia maintains a range of offensive cyber tools that it could employ against US networks, from low-level denials of service to destructive attacks targeting critical infrastructure. The Kremlin's been talking this morning, saying that it's profoundly concerned by the latest US moves, but it won't comment until it receives its written response from the Biden administration. Meanwhile, France and Germany planning to try to revive these de-escalation talks with Russia and Ukraine. That takes place in Paris tomorrow. Cecilia?
Well, hoping for an off-ramp. Okay, Ian, thank you. The Pentagon placing, as you said, those troops on high alert, but for now, not deploying them to the region. So let's bring in our senior White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. Mary, this still marks a major shift for the administration.
Yeah, Cecilia, good morning. There is simply no question that putting these troops on high alert is a major pivot for this White House. So what changed? Well, as the Pentagon says, it was clear that Russia had no interest right now in de-escalation. As for what comes next, on that call yesterday with European leaders, the president and these leaders discussed moving ahead and imposing and preparing to impose massive economic costs on Russia and these efforts to reinforce security in the region. Now, the White House and the president continue to underscore their desire for a diplomatic solution here, but it's just not clear if compromise is achievable or if Putin has any real interest in diplomacy, Cecilia.
Yeah, Marian, I want to ask you about another moment there at the White House yesterday. You were in the room for it, the president responding to a question from a Fox News.
Shalom Yasharala, Shalom, Kalalayim, Allahayanawa, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who teach one and rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives throughout the four corners of the earth. And to the Aquath listening and learning, Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the Pillars of Benjamin camp, here with another lesson. And through the spirit and power of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. The title of this lesson, War Report, right? Another edition of the War Report, right? And we're in some interesting times, right? Things are ramping up, right? The Medes, who is Gog and Magog, who is Russia, is being stirred up. And who's stirring them up? Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Isaiah 13, verse 17, and it reads, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. Who are the Medes? Russia. Against who? America the Great, Babylon the Great, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it, right? And no amount of money is going to be able to pay off these Medes when they go, man. Right now, they're just getting stirred up. They're getting roused up, right? And ultimately, this beef is because Putin wants guaranteed that Ukraine will not join the NATO, right? But it goes deeper than that, man. I believe Ukraine produces the third most uranium in the world. Bear with me. Let's look at this one right here. Right? And a war's going to break out. The scriptures say war will break out, man. This is from July of last year. Bear with me. Five largest uranium producers in the world. And this is from last year, November. Right? What are the largest uranium companies in the world? Right? And uranium is an intricate part of warheads. Right? BHP Olympic, Cameco, Energy Resources in Australia, I want to know the countries. Salak. Top uranium producing countries. Let's look at that. In the world. Kazakhstan. Look at that. Kazakhstan. Canada. Australia. Ukraine's in the top 10, right? Kazakhstan number 1. Didn't Kazakhstan just pop off? Right? Right? You gotta look at. Listen, man. You think Putin's? It has to do with uranium, yes, but also has to do with it has to do with scriptures, man. Right? And the scriptures say the Most High will stir up the Medes. Third woe. See now, Revelation 11, verse 14. Right? And we're in the time of prophecy. Revelation 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and it reads, Salak. Revelation 11, verse 14, and it reads, the second woe is past, Second World War, And behold, the third woe cometh quickly, the third world war, right? And how is it going to be fought? Isaiah 9, verse 5, and it reads, for every battle of the warriors with confused noise, right? The ancient wars, horseback, swords, battle axes, lances, right? All kind of noise, swords clanging, people screaming in pain, right? And garments rolled in blood, right? Injuries on the battlefield by ways of these ancient wars, right? But this shall be, what's this? But this shall be, right? This third war, this war, right? But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, right? Burning and fuel of fire. And what's going to cause that? Thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles, warheads. Thus saith the scriptures. Stay prayed up, pray without ceasing. Kwame Asherala, Wa Abad Babal.